Have you ever looked at a graph and it just felt like a bunch of random lines? Well, today we are going to totally crack that code. We're going to figure out how to see the story behind any line, not with some complicated formula, but just by looking at it. So, welcome. Let's dive into the 4 types of slope. I want you to think of every line on a graph as a path, okay? Is it a tough uphill climb? A super fun downhill slide? Maybe an easy walk on a flat road? Or is it a sheer cliff that's just impossible? By the time we're done here, you'll be able to tell which is which in a heartbeat. Let's go. So what is slope anyway? It's actually pretty simple. It's all about 2 things: how steep a line is and which way it's going. And here's a little secret for you. Before you even think about touching a calculator, the best tool you have for this is right in front of you, your own eyes. All right, before we start exploring these different paths, we need a compass. There's one golden rule that's going to guide us through everything. If you can get this one thing right, trust me, you'll never get lost. And here is the big one. Just like you read a sentence in a book, you always, and I mean always, read a graph from left to right. Seriously, burn this into your brain. If you can make that a habit, you're going to nail the direction of the slope every single time. Okay, you got your compass? Good. Let's go check out the 4 main landscapes, or types of slope, that you're going to find on any graph. First up, we've got the positive slope. Imagine putting your finger on the very left side of this line. Now, as you trace it over to the right, where does your finger go? See? It goes up. That uphill climb, kind of like an airplane taking off, that's always a positive slope. Next on our tour is the negative slope. Let's do the same thing. Start on the left, trace to the right. What happens this time? Your finger goes down. This downhill journey is what we call a negative slope. Think of it like going down a slide at the park. So what about a line that's perfectly flat, horizontal? Well, let's trace it. From left to right, you don't go up, you don't go down at all. It takes 0 effort to walk across it, right? And that's exactly why we call this a 0 slope. It's just like walking on flat ground. Easy. And the last one, our final type, the straight up and down vertical line. This is an undefined slope, and it makes sense if you think about it. You can't walk on a wall, can't you? It's like a sheer cliff face. It's an impossible path. So in math, we say that situation is undefined. Okay, so you've met the 4 types. Now it's time for a little test drive. Let's check out a few examples, just like you might see on a quiz, and put our brand new skills to work. All right, example number 1. Let's follow our rules. We start on the left, we trace our finger to the right, and look at that, our finger moves up. So what kind of slope is it? It's positive. See? Simple as that. Now for our second example. This line is perfectly flat. So let's ask ourselves that question. Can you walk on it? Yep, absolutely. It's like a floor. And since it takes 0 effort to walk on, its slope is exactly that, 0. And here's our last one, the vertical line. Let's ask the question one more time. Can you walk on it? No way, you'd fall right off. It's an impossible wall. And because it's impossible, its slope is undefined. All right, let's talk about the single biggest mistake people make when they're first learning about slope. If you can really get this next point, you're going to save yourself from so many headaches later on. This right here is so important. 0 and undefined are not the same thing, not even close. 0 is a real number. It's a flat, walkable road. You can have $0, right? Undefined, on the other hand, is an impossibility. It's that cliff you can't walk on. It's where the math literally just breaks. So think of it this way. One is a path, the other is a crash. So you might be thinking, okay, that's cool, but why does this matter outside of my math homework? Well, it matters because once you learn to see slope, you're going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. Here's a perfect example, the roof right over your head. Builders have a special name for its steepness. They call it the pitch. That's just a fancy word for slope. Roofs need to have a positive or negative slope so that rain and snow can slide right off. A flat roof, one with 0 slope, is a really bad idea because all that water just pulls up and can cause major leaks. And here's something really cool to think about. What you're learning today isn't just for your next algebra test. This whole idea of slope, of figuring out how a path is changing, is the foundation for one of the biggest ideas in all of calculus, something called the derivative. Getting this down now is like giving your future self a mathematical superpower. So I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. Next time you're outside, look at the world through this new lens of slope. What kind of slope is the roof on your house or the wheelchair ramp going into a store? What about that big hill in the park? You now have the tools to read the world in a totally new way. I think you'll be pretty surprised by what you start to notice.